Welcome back to the channel, guys. And yes, there's definitely no mountains in Florida. We're at Nevada at the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School. I know a lot of my Corvette guys know, but for the non-Corvette guys that don't know, when you buy a brand new Corvette, Chevy basically comps 80% of the cost of coming to Ron Fellows School. So, you know, you pay $1,000, you get yourself out here and you get 2 days of driving school. So I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride. Check out all these things. The best part is you don't have to rag on your own car. They would give you a car, give you tires and all that, you know, so awesome. All right, so this is my ride, which is a 3LC, all souped up, non-Z07. It's actually pretty swanky. Got the glass roof, got the carbon fiber, got the leather. I don't like the leather seats though. They're very slidey. First exercise of the day is this emergency braking or ABS exercise, where they're basically teaching you how to use ABS or how to stop in an emergency situation.
Clinton, come on down. Nice job, Clinton. Clear out. Maybe a little bit progressive on the brakes initially. I saw you get to the ABS towards the end there. I'd like to see a little bit of a firmer hit on the brakes initially though.
I'm so used to progressively pressing the brake. Right. Yeah, so they want you to slam on the brakes, but at the track, you really can't do that with this car.
Nice job, sir. Clear out.
The braking system freaks out. But I guess, you know, what they're trying to teach you really is, you know, in a wet condition, you know, if you hit a sudden loss of traction, you know, then they're saying you need to slam on it. And the other thing that they're trying to teach you is to look where you're going. So we want to look at the cones, look at the opening, and then use your vision to see where the car is supposed to go.
Come on down, Clinton. Nice job, Clinton. Clear out. Maybe a tiny bit progressive on the brakes, but nice job overall. Saw that ABS intervention pretty early.
Yeah, hard habit to let go of. Once you learn how this car just did not like to stop at a racetrack if you just slam on the brake. Then they have you do this exercise where they're basically trying to get you to look not only right in front of you, but also around you, and more important, ahead of you. So look, they're really trying to teach you to look where you want the car to go.
Down before you start your turn, make the radius a little bit larger. I'll give you a little bit more speed and also a little bit easier to make that turn. Patience on the wheel. There it is. We're straight, we're looking to the, you got it, keep that steering wheel straight. Nick, come on up. Scanning left, patience on that steering wheel, wait for that cone. Excellent, clear out. Ready for this, Glenn? All right, we're recording, we're driving straight, and we're looking left.
Then they ratchet up the pressure a little bit more. I mean, this is a very slow and non-dangerous exercise, but this really drives home the point that they really want you to use other cues than just looking in front of you. They're really trying to get you to look to the side and look ahead on the track to see where you want the car to go.
There we go. Patience on the wheel as you look left. Good, scanning right. Fight the urge to turn. Wait for that cone. Remember, slow those hands down. Wait for that cone to get to your nose, then start that large radius of return. That's it. As you come around that orange cone, see how much easier it is to get real close to it? All right, come to a stop, take the sunscreen down.
Next was honestly my favorite exercise of the whole experience is a wet skid pad. I wish that they would spend more time on this or give you multiple sessions on this. I just think this is so important, especially with the mid-engine car. The balance is so different and it's not intuitive if you've driven other cars. So I'm gonna leave this basically unedited. She gives me really good tips that I think are important and teach you a lot of the car control that we all really need.
And then back towards the blue again. Nice. We can start picking up the speed a little bit. So you feel that vibration?
Yeah.
That's that understeer. So that happens when we're entering a corner too fast with too much steering angle.
So the wheels, the tires are chattering?
Yeah, they
skipping?
They lose grip. Yeah, basically we're like binding up the front tires because we're turning too much while it's going fast, and just the tires don't want to work anymore, and that's why it doesn't want to turn.
Okay.
So I actually want you to induce that vibration again, but I'm going to show you how to fix it. So you're going to add slight brakes and take the steering out. So yeah, brakes and steering out at the same time. It also, depending on how fast we're going, you can just lift out of the gas, but you also need to do that unwind of the steering at the same time.
Like that?
Yeah, just try and be a little smoother with it, but yeah, so induce the vibration first so you can feel when it goes away. So slight brakes, good. Now we can continue our corner. And we don't really have to like unwind all the way and come to a stop pointed straight. We just need to unwind until we can, the feeling goes away, we can continue our corner. Do you feel that?
So you're just trying to correct it slightly and keep going?
Yeah, but we don't want to immediately get back to gas because then it'll induce it again. So yeah, see how it's inducing it again? So stay off the gas once we fix it. Okay. Yeah, until we're pointed where we need to go. Same thing out on track too. Like that's gonna happen out on track if we start. That's why we say you can't start to accelerate until you're pointed where you need to go next and you're done turning, because otherwise it's going to cause that understeer. Okay. So now I'm going to have you slow down. Okay. Just coast, no gas. Get pointed down to your apex, point towards the blue turning cone out. Accelerate hard. Okay. There you go. So that's that. Oops. Yep. Brake. Unwind. Feel how it went away as soon as I did that unwind? Okay. Yeah. Because remember, if we continue adding steering, it's actually making the problem worse.
You're just plowing through?
Exactly, yeah. So, I know it's counterintuitive, but... so remember, we got to slow down because otherwise we're going to get understeer. So just coast, get pointed, and go. There we go. Okay, brake. Then we'll just go around this one again. So your counter steer was pretty good. I think we could be a little bit more aggressive with our counter steer.
Faster?
And then also bleed out of the gas as we're doing that. Good, there you go. Now slow down. Yeah, we gotta avoid that understeer so we can get a good drift off the corner, and go. Okay, great. Yeah. No worries, just a little too much gas and a little too late with the counter steer. So as soon as you feel that rear end start to go, that's when you need to start counter steering.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, just patience, off the gas, get pointed, and go. Nice, beautiful. Slow down. Yep. Patience, and go. Nice. Really smooth. Good. Yeah, almost. They're hard to connect in these cars, but you can try. Yeah, almost.
It's like the balance in between, like it wanting to stay balanced and then just going all the way around is very, very small.
Yeah.
At least that's the way it feels to me.
Yeah, you have to be pretty fast with the hands too, because it's like, yeah. And it might help if you try and carry the drift for longer, like, and then snap it back. Okay. If that makes sense. Patience, and go. And just keep carrying it, and go. There you go. See how that felt a little bit better?
Yeah.
but it's kind of hard to still keep it going, but
It is a ton of fun though.
yeah, definitely.
Especially because it's not my car.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've always wanted to do skid pads, and they're like few and far in between, you know?
Yeah.
Especially wet ones.
Yeah. Ooh, good. Ooh, almost. Almost. Yeah. I think you need to continue turning just a little bit more. Yeah. Unwind.
There you go. That is like so against to what I'm used to, you know?
I know. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's really a beneficial skill to have though, because out on the racetrack, like if you're accelerating before you're down to your apex, that understeer is going to happen. And
Right.
9 times out of 10, people are going to be adding more steering, which is going to make the situation worse. So you have to come out of the throttle and unwind that steering wheel a little bit.
Oh.
Yes, super bad understeer there, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do one more drift,
Okay.
and I'm going to throw you in weather mode. Unwind. There you go. Okay, and go. Break. Yeah. Nice.
Next, we got into some track sessions. So previously we had done a reconnaissance session where, you know, we're just kind of slowly following the instructor, and you kind of do this thing where, you know, you take turns who is behind the instructor, and we're separated in groups of like 3 or 4. So this was the actual first fast session that we got to do, and you basically kind of set the pace. You go as fast as you can, and as you'll see, you know, the instructors are really, really good, really, really fast. So, you know, you're not really gonna catch them. But the point is, you're gonna set the pace, and these people are amazing. They're driving really, really fast, and they're telling you what to do or what you're doing wrong and what corrections you need to make on the fly. I'm not really sure how they do this. That I found super, super amazing. But anyways, this was my first, you know, PB, I guess we can call it.
One more lap. Remember, prioritize turn 10, okay? Slow in, fast out. Just coast, get pointed, go. Much better. Look how well you stayed with me there. Excellent. We gotta get over to the left-hand side there. We're entering. Yeah, we're just getting back to power too early. While we're just not getting over to that left-hand side. So we're entering the corner from the middle, and we're getting back to power too early. So it's going to become a dangerous situation eventually. So we got to make sure we're opening up the radius of that corner by making that triangle shape from the blue turning cone to the orange apex cone, going out to the left in the middle of it to that red and white curving. Excellent job. All right, let's slow our pace.
75% then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, because you already got the demo time, I have to go a little bit faster than that, because our demo time is a 16, so.
Oh, gotcha. So you raise radicals?
Yep.
Like the ones that they have at the visitor center or whatever, the signing center?
Yeah, I don't race here, but yeah, I race radicals, and then actually today it was just announced that I won a shootout, and I'll be racing in
Oh, for real?
GT4 next season.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome. So what series is that?
It's only in the WRL, but
Okay.
It'll be good seat time, and it's endurance racing series.
So what car are you going to be driving?
Supra.
Oh, the Supra GT4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I also do European NASCAR over in Europe.
Yeah, so Brenna is an amazing driver. She's obviously a professional driver, and she's just going to show us here how the lot is actually done. By balancing, you guys mean trail braking, right?
Yes, correct. Now here, if you watch, I'm going to brake, turn in, then do my downshift. You feel that like rotation that you get?
Yeah. That's much later than what I was doing.
I can accelerate, brush to the brake, get pointed, go. Firm on the brakes, guiding the car down, patience, go.
Okay. Parking it.
Well, from the passenger seat, yeah, it probably feels like you're not, but
surprised the car lets you yaw it like that in sport.
Well, it's PTM sport. It's not
right.
Sport, so yeah, but it's like, it's really not. I'm really not getting that much yaw. It's just like from.
There's a little bit of yaw there.
Well, from the trail brake.
Right.
It's just, all the weight is on the front, so the rear is becoming light, but it kind of like my steering wheel's not moving or anything like that. And like, it's just a neutral kind of balance. It's not really like drifting or anything.
Right. No, I'm not saying that you're drifting the car, but see, like there, you're definitely moving the car a little bit,
All right, there you go.
All right. Thank you for showing me how it's done. That's awesome. You're an amazing driver.
That was a 113.
Okay.
So that'll be a good reference for you.
Okay. That's going to be tough to beat.
Very nice, Barrett. That was a 33.6. That's going to be the quickest time on the board here. Clinton, go right ahead, sir. Go. Now we got another fastest time on the board. 33.4 for you there, Clinton.
Right after autocross, I think at this point the instructors were seeing that I was a little bit more capable than the majority of the rest of the group, and they actually allowed me to go into a whole session with just me and the instructor. So this is just me and the instructor. We got to do like 6 laps in a row. We did catch up to the group several times, so it wasn't like a full send session, but still I was able to learn a lot, and I was able to drop my time by a lot, which is, I was really happy about that.
slow it down here. Slow it down. Nice job, Clinton. That was awesome.
Then we had the last session of autocross competition.
This is for all the marbles. Again, gentlemen, remember, smooth is fast, all right? A lot of times when we go out there, we try to get a better time. We tend to push sometimes too much and kind of overdrive the car, all right? So remember, smooth things out, look far ahead of us, work on carrying mid-corner speed or just kind of rolling through the corner with a little bit more mile per hour there. Clint, ready when you are. Come on out. Nicely done. That's going to be your best run, sir. Shaved off another 7/10 of a second. Good improvement on that last run there.
Lap here, Clinton. Let's put it all together. Calm as can be.
And last, the final session of the whole weekend where I set my fastest lap around the course.
Get a good run out of here. According to my clock, that was a few tenths faster. Let's gather up here. Great job, man. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
All right, we're back in Florida. So do I think that the Ron Fellows Z06 school is worth it for somebody who has some track experience? Well, yes and no. Let me explain. I think for the money is an incredible value. Okay, figure you're gonna spend about $2,000 because by the time you pay for flights to and from, you're probably gonna need a rental. You're gonna probably end up spending one more night at Spring Mountain, maybe the night that you fly in or whatever. And then they have a really good swag store with shirts and sweaters and hats and all kinds of stuff that you're gonna want to buy. Me and Josh bought a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I would figure that you're going to spend about $2,000. But even for $2,000 is a really good value for this type of performance driving school or experience or what have you. Especially, they give you the car. Obviously, you don't have to do anything to the car. There's no maintenance involved. There's no fuel involved or anything like that. So that I do think it is a good value for the money if you have the voucher from GM. And I think that even if you are experienced, you are going to learn something, okay? I definitely did learn something. One of the newest things about this car that I didn't realize until then is that this car really doesn't like you to go on the throttle too early, which is counterintuitive to what you would think because you have the weight in the back. You kind of think, okay, Porsches, they get to put the power down early. You're thinking, this car has a lot of weight in the back. Maybe you can apply some of that. But really what ends up happening is if you go on the throttle too early, which I do, and this is one of the things that they pointed out to me over and over again, it locks up the rear diff, or it starts to lock up the rear diff, and that introduces understeer, so mid-turn understeer. So that's one of the things that I learned. Okay. Another thing that I learned is that I tend to turn in too early. You know what I mean? So these are things that I learned there. Now, could I have learned that eventually? Yeah, probably, you know. And I could have also paid a local coach to work with me one-on-one. But there is value there is what I'm saying. There is value. There is things that you can learn from these people. There's many instructors. It's not just one person. Okay. So there's many perspectives to everything. You know, depending on how you're looking at things, the questions you're asking, they all kind of have their different opinions and their own ways about it, but they all preach the same things as to how to drive this particular car, which to me was surprising. You know, that you brake in, you brake hard in a straight line. They call it balance the car, which is trail brake a little bit in, and then they actually tell you to coast, which is not something that I would normally do in any other car, but they tell you to coast for a little bit and don't get on the power until you're at the apex or beyond the apex. Obviously, there's some corners that, you know, you can't apply all of this to. There's some corners that you can get into the power. But besides that, that's really kind of what they preach, and that's not something that I really had considered. And so that's one thing that I'm going to start trying to apply. And if you go back and you watch the lap of Brenna, the girl instructor, and you look at her inputs, her brake and throttle inputs, it clearly shows that, okay? So yes, there is value for you to learn, even if you are experienced. However, the reason why I say that it may not be worth it is because this is really set up for beginners. So they go over in the classrooms, which is not something that I covered. It was really boring, to be honest with you, because they just cover really basic, mundane topics, you know, how to set up the PDR, how to set up the traction control modes, what tires they use, what brakes they use, you know, stuff like that, you know, and yes, they're covering, you know, look ahead, you know, they're talking about the things that they're trying to teach you for the track, but all in all, it's a bunch of time that you're just kind of sitting there thinking to yourself, God, why am I sitting here? It's so much time. You spend hours and hours in these rooms. Now, because it's really set up for beginners, and I'll be honest with you, the 90, maybe 95% of the people that were in my class were people that had no track experience. There were some guys that had never gone wide open throttle in their car, guys that, you know, have never been to the racetrack, had never been to an autocross or anything like that. And it's really catered for that person, right? Somebody who really has no experience, but is maybe thinking about, you know, taking their car to the track. And that's a really good introductory, that's a really good way to get into tracking these cars. And that's how it's set up. So, you know, if you go and you have a lot of experience and you're thinking this is going to be an actual racing school, it is not, okay? This is more like an introduction into performance driving. That's how I took it. I learned a lot. I still had fun, and I would still do it again. But yeah, it's definitely set up for beginners. All right, guys, well, hopefully you find the video helpful. I try to cover basically everything that we did over the 2 days. The only thing that I didn't put on there is I did not put every single session. I think there was 1 or 2 more track sessions that we did. The track sessions are very short, but they're very broken up because you're in these smaller groups following the instructor, and then you kind of take turns. You do half a hot lap and then a full hot lap, and then you pull over to the side, and then you switch positions, and the next person gets in front of you. They get behind the instructor, and you kind of do this dance around the track several times. But the sessions are really only about 15 minutes. So I think there was 1 or 2 there that I did not cover. And then the other thing that I did not cover was they also show you how to use the launch control. You know, my car was pretty well beat up, to be honest. It had like 15,000, and you could tell it was 15,000 track miles on it. The transmission was all clunky. The off idle, like takeoff and stuff like that, was pretty bad. So anyways, there wasn't a whole lot of good traction. You're gonna probably get better times on the street because, you know, they're trying to maximize their usage out of the tires and out of the cars and stuff like that. So I didn't think that was, that important to cover in this video. But yeah, everything else, basically the way you saw it is the way it's laid out, except for the classrooms, right? There was a lot of classrooms in there, both days that you spent a lot of time, that would have made this video, much, much, much longer, and nobody would watch it because it would be super boring. So yeah, so expect that there is quite a bit of classroom that you just, kind of sit there and go through what they're trying to tell you. You may learn something if you don't know much about these cars, but if you're quite familiar with them, there may not be much for you to learn there, and you just kind of be thinking about other stuff probably. I'm gonna close it out there. Thank you for watching. Peace out.